And I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, don't mix me with it.
Why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't mix me with that. I seen the outcomes of that. Like, I ain't with that.
Lil Baby's name is getting dragged all over the internet right now. People are saying he switched up on Lil Durk and started chasing clout with NBA YoungBoy instead. Fans are calling it a straight-up betrayal, and it's got everyone talking about what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's keep it real. This ain't just about some industry drama. This is about loyalty. When your so-called brother's locked up and you suddenly start showing love to his biggest rival, that says everything. Folks are calling Lil Baby out for being fake, for moving shady when the pressure hit, and for switching sides just to keep himself in the spotlight. And guess what? The word on the street is that Baby's trying to get back cool with NBA YoungBoy, now that it's looking like Durk might not be home for a minute. That's wild. This whole situation's got people seeing through all those "we brothers for life" speeches. Because when money and fame are involved, loyalty turns into a business deal real quick. But let's rewind for a second. There was actually a time when Lil Baby and NBA YoungBoy were tight. They made straight heat together. We're talking about bangers like One Shot and Cross Me. Those tracks were fire, and you could tell the chemistry was real, not that fake label-made friendship energy. Back in 2018 and 2020, both of them were hungry, grinding their way out of the mud. They had the same drive, the same street hustle, and that same fire that made people believe in them. When they linked up, it wasn't about clout, it was about respect. Two young kings trying to make it from nothing, chasing success the only way they knew how, through pure hustle and raw talent. But the question now is, where did that brotherhood go? That real bond between Lil Baby and YoungBoy turned into dope tracks and a brother-like friendship. But that all went straight out the window once the industry stepped in. Everything flipped the moment those politics and egos got involved. The loyalty, the respect, the chemistry, gone just like that. See? Once NBA YoungBoy's camp started clashing with OTF, Lil Baby was stuck in the middle. He had to choose sides, and instead of standing 10 toes down or staying neutral, he rolled with Lil Durk. That decision changed everything. The friendship that once felt solid cracked under pressure, and it showed the world how fast love can turn fake when the money and power come into play. Now let's get real for a second. This ain't just a Lil Baby issue. This happens all across the rap game. When these artists come up together, it's all about struggle, loyalty, and respect. They bond because they need each other. But once they make it, once the millions start rolling in, loyalty gets replaced by business strategy. Suddenly, it's about who's hot right now, who's got the bigger label push, and who can get you more connections. That's when day ones become distant memories. And you know what's even crazier? Lil Baby probably told himself he was doing the smart thing. Maybe he thought OTF had more power in the streets. Maybe he believed Durk would come out on top. Or maybe he was just scared to go against the industry flow. But no matter what excuse you give it, he still left a friend hanging, right when YoungBoy needed loyalty the most. Everything boiled over after that night, November 6th, 2020. The night that changed the whole rap game. King Von was gunned down outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta after a fight broke out with Quando Rondo. Moments later, Rondo's associate Lil Tim fired the fatal shots that ended Von's life. It was chaos. And from that point on, everyone in hip-hop had to pick a side, OTF or YoungBoy's camp. That tragic night didn't just take a life, it split the industry in half. And Lil Baby made it loud and clear which side he was standing on. This wasn't some random street scuffle. This was the loss of one of the brightest young stars in hip-hop. King Von wasn't just another rapper. He was Lil Durk's right-hand man and the heartbeat of OTF's future. His death sent shockwaves through the entire industry, leaving everyone stunned, grieving, and questioning what loyalty really means in this game. After Von's passing, everything changed overnight. Neutrality? That was off the table. In the streets, once blood's been spilled, you can't play both sides. You either stand with your people or you don't. The code don't allow half-stepping. That's when the whole industry started dividing, and rappers had to decide exactly where they stood. From the outside, it might have looked like music beef, but this was way deeper. This was about life and death. YoungBoy's camp, including Quando Rondo, got thrown into a deadly war with OTF. Suddenly, every artist even remotely connected to either side had to make that brutal decision, loyalty or survival. And in that moment, every move mattered.
Like, And I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, I ain't into that. Like, I ain't like, don't mix me with it. Like,
why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't miss me with that shit.
That makes sense.
For real.
I get it.
Now here's where Lil Baby's loyalty got tested and exposed. Instead of holding down his friend NBA YoungBoy, who was now surrounded by chaos and hated by half the industry, Baby chose to ride with Lil Durk. That wasn't just a career move, that was personal. Fans saw it as a straight-up betrayal, especially after everything he and YoungBoy had built together. And Baby didn't even try to hide it. In an interview, he said loud and clear, "I don't care about rapper beef, but if somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side." That one line told the world everything. It showed that in this industry, loyalty ends where convenience begins. Instead of standing by the friend he once called real, he jumped ship the moment things got messy. And just like that, the bond between two street-raised kings turned into another broken promise in hip-hop's endless war for dominance. And yeah, somebody did die. King Von. That's exactly who Lil Baby was talking about when he said he had to pick a side. By saying that, Baby basically admitted that Von's death made him ride with Lil Durk, even though NBA YoungBoy had nothing to do with what happened. That's wild when you really think about it. Let's keep it real. YoungBoy wasn't even there that night. He didn't pull no trigger, he didn't start that fight, and he wasn't part of the chaos. But Baby still turned his back on him like he was the one responsible. That right there shows you the dark side of how this industry works. People don't stay loyal to the truth, they stay loyal to power. See, Baby's move wasn't about right or wrong, it was about position. It's the psychology of survival in an industry where being connected means everything. Instead of holding down the friend he once came up with, Baby chose to stand next to the one with more influence, more connections, and more control over the spotlight. That's not loyalty. That's straight opportunism dressed up like loyalty. And that's when everything started falling apart for NBA YoungBoy. The moment King Von passed, the industry quietly turned its back on him. Rappers who used to bump his music suddenly stopped mentioning his name. Collabs disappeared. People who used to show love online started acting like they never knew him. And the wildest part? Even folks he called bro started switching sides, Lil Baby included. You could hear the pain in YoungBoy's voice after that. His lyrics started sounding darker, more isolated, more real. He talked about how fake the industry felt, how everyone who used to ride for him disappeared the moment things got rough. That's not just anger. That's heartbreak from someone realizing loyalty don't mean nothing in the spotlight. Imagine that, being one of the biggest names in the game, dropping hit after hit, and still feeling like the world's plotting against you. That kind of pressure eats at your mind, especially when you're fighting court cases and street beef at the same time. The paranoia, the anger, the loneliness, it's all right there in his music. That's what happens when an entire industry decides you're the villain. It's not just about losing fans, it's about losing trust in everyone. But instead of letting all that pain destroy him, NBA YoungBoy did what real artists do. He turned it into fuel. He poured every ounce of betrayal, anger, and heartbreak into his music. Every track became a message to the world, exposing fake loyalty, shady industry politics, and the people who flipped on him when things got rough. That raw emotion, that realness, is exactly why his fans never left his side. Even when the whole industry turned cold, his core audience stayed solid. Then came the track that shook hip-hop to its core, I Hate YoungBoy. That song wasn't just a diss, it was a full-blown declaration of war. YoungBoy didn't hold back. He called out the entire industry, from rivals to former friends. It wasn't just about Lil Durk, it was aimed at every single person who switched sides, including Lil Baby. The energy was raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. He used that mic like a weapon, firing shots at every fake relationship and every so-called ally who ghosted him when things got tough. You could feel the frustration, the betrayal, and the loneliness in every bar. He was done trying to play nice. He wanted the world to know he saw through the smiles and handshakes. Psychologically, that song was YoungBoy saying, if y'all gonna turn your backs on me, I'll stand alone and call every one of you out. That's not just confidence, that's defiance. Most artists would have gone silent, played it safe, or tried to fix things behind closed doors, but not him. He faced the whole system head-on and refused to back down. But behind the anger, there was something deeper. Pain. You could hear it in his voice. The sadness of losing people he thought were real. The rage of being painted as the villain for something he didn't even do. That kind of betrayal cuts deep, especially when it comes from people who once stood beside you. And that's when things started to shift again. Rumors began spreading that karma might be circling back, and whispers started saying that Lil Durk's empire was beginning to crumble. Fans began calling it revenge without violence, like the universe was evening the score. Because while YoungBoy kept climbing, it seemed like Durk's world was slowly starting to fall apart. And people noticed. Fast forward to August 2022, and the streets started buzzing with whispers of revenge. Word spread that Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab, had been shot and killed in Los Angeles. And instantly, all eyes turned toward Lil Durk and OTF. The rumors were wild. People claimed it was payback for King Von's death. And now, according to federal reports and leaked documents, there might be more truth to those whispers than anyone expected. The talk in the streets, and even in the Fed's paperwork, was that Durk allegedly set up a murder-for-hire plot to avenge Von. The supposed target? Quando Rondo himself, but the plan went sideways, and his cousin Lil Pab ended up losing his life instead. That's not just a tragic mistake. That's a sign of how deep this beef ran. And this wasn't some random retaliation in the streets. It was allegedly organized, funded, and strategically planned. A calculated hit that crossed state lines, which is exactly why the feds jumped in. Once things go federal, the game changes, and it's not about street codes anymore. It's about indictments, wiretaps, and hard evidence. Now, the psychology behind all this? It's brutal. Losing King Von didn't just hurt OTF emotionally, it broke them mentally. Von wasn't just another artist, he was family. And in street culture, when family falls, the code says someone's gotta pay. But this time, it looks like that need for revenge went too far. If the allegations are true, Durk's pain might have blinded him. Instead of focusing on his music and the success he built, he allegedly tried to handle the situation himself, turning grief into vengeance. But when you start playing that game at a federal level, the consequences get deadly serious. And now, Lil Durk's freedom might be the ultimate price. The federal case against him looks heavy. We're talking about wiretaps catching conversations that prosecutors claim link him to the plot, financial transfers that line up with travel dates, and even supposed testimony from insiders connected to the case. This ain't no small-time street beef anymore. This is federal conspiracy territory. To make it worse, those feds don't play around. They move slow, build quietly, and strike when you least expect it. The word out there, Lil Durk might be facing the kind of evidence that even top lawyers can't spin. It's looking grim, like the same revenge he allegedly chased might be what ends up taking everything away from him. The feds are coming hard at Lil Durk, and what they're saying is wild. According to reports, prosecutors claim Durk used his OTF label as more than just a music empire. They're calling it a full-blown criminal organization. They're alleging he financed hits, coordinated travel for shooters, and even managed the logistics behind multiple murders. That's not rumor. That's what's in the federal paperwork. And the evidence? It's stacking up ugly. They say they got wiretaps, bank transfers, private jet manifests, and even witnesses ready to testify against him. That's the kind of proof that doesn't just shake your career, it buries it. When the feds got receipts like that, it's usually game over. What makes it even darker for Durk is that this ain't state court. This is federal court. And anyone who knows the system knows that once the feds step in, your chances drop to almost nothing. Their conviction rate sits over 90%, and they don't press charges unless they're confident they can win. So if they've already cuffed him, that means they believe they've got enough to lock him away forever. Now imagine the mental toll that takes. 1 minute, Durk's on top of the rap world. Grammys, millions in the bank, global tours, and the next, he's staring at a possible life sentence. That kind of fall from grace doesn't just hurt your image, it crushes your spirit. Especially when you start realizing that your own decisions might have written your downfall. That's a psychological nightmare. Going from power to panic in a matter of months. And just when you think it can't get any worse, the industry starts folding. All those rappers who used to scream OTF4L are suddenly quiet. The same artists who went after YoungBoy and stood with Dirk when things were good are now switching sides faster than ever. You check social media and now they're liking YoungBoy's posts, reposting his lyrics, and trying to rewrite history like they were never part of the other side. It's the ultimate switch-up. The loyalty that once looked real is now exposed as pure opportunism. Nobody wants to stand next to someone facing a federal indictment. It's bad for business. So they backpedal, pretend they're neutral, or worse, start showing love to the same person they dissed before. And right in the middle of all this stands Lil Baby, the clearest example of how fast loyalty in hip-hop can flip when freedom and fame are on the line. When Lil Durk was free, rich, and ruling the game, Lil Baby was right there beside him, loud and loyal. He picked sides, made his alliance crystal clear, and didn't care who knew it. But the second things flipped, the second Durk's facing a possible life sentence, Baby's energy switched up fast. Now he's suddenly showing love to NBA YoungBoy again, liking his Instagram posts like they never had beef. That's wild behavior. Let's be real. This is textbook fake loyalty. These rappers ain't loyal to people. They're loyal to position. When Durk was up, it made sense to ride with him. It was good for business, good for exposure, good for the image. But now that he's in serious trouble, Baby's trying to slide back into YoungBoy's circle like nothing ever happened. That's not friendship. That's survival mode. And the proof? It's all over Instagram. The same Lil Baby who once stood 10 toes down with OTF, who said, "If somebody died, I'm picking a side," is now double-tapping YoungBoy's pictures and acting like they're cool again. That's not just a random like, that's a message. He's publicly signaling that the tables have turned, that he's ready to make peace now that the power balance has shifted. The psychology behind it is simple. Self-preservation. Baby's watching the industry landscape and realizing the truth. Durk might not be coming home anytime soon. And in the rap game, association equals opportunity. So what's he doing? Trying to protect his brand, rebuild bridges, and realign himself with whoever looks like the winning team right now. But here's the thing. That move says everything about Baby's character. If his loyalty to Durk was real, he'd stand by him when things got tough. If his decision to choose sides was genuine, he wouldn't be running back to the same guy he turned his back on. This kind of flip-flopping expose is exactly what kind of loyalty exists in this industry. Temporary, transactional, and totally fake. It's all about who can help them right now. Loyalty only lasts as long as your career benefits from it. And Lil Baby's every move on social media screams one thing. He's protecting his image, not his friendships. Now the streets are watching, and the people who once saw him as solid are asking one question. If he switched once, what's stopping him from switching again? But that kind of loyalty switching isn't just Lil Baby's issue. It's the whole industry's disease. The second someone falls off, the same people who once shouted their name start pretending they barely know them. That's exactly what's happening now that Lil Durk's situation looks grim. And it's exposing just how fake the game really is. You can see the pattern clear as day. Rappers who used to scream OTF forever are suddenly cozying back up to NBA YoungBoy. The same artists who were once part of the industry's silent blackballing against him are now liking his posts, dropping emojis, and sending sneaky little messages trying to rebuild bridges. It's wild how fast people change when the power balance flips. What all this shows is the ugly truth. In hip-hop, loyalty is conditional. Friendships ain't built on morals or brotherhood, they're built on convenience and clout. The second standing beside someone becomes risky, that love turns into silence. The moment your name's attached to controversy, your so-called friends start ghosting you to save their own image. These rappers think they're being smart by switching sides early, like they're protecting their brand before the storm hits. But what they don't realize is that every time they do that, they expose themselves. They show the world their loyalty is for sale and their word means absolutely nothing. You can't build real respect when everyone knows you'll fold the second things get uncomfortable. And you can bet YoungBoy's watching all of this like a hawk. He's seeing who's really standing firm and who's just going wherever the crowd moves. He's keeping mental notes. Every like, every follow, every fake peace sign. This moment is teaching him exactly who was genuine and who was just riding trends when he was down. The psychology behind this fake loyalty runs deep. It's not just weak character, it's survival mode in an industry that treats artists like investments, not people. Most of these rappers grew up in environments where trust could get you killed, so when fame brings millions into the mix, loyalty turns into strategy. They learn early on to attach themselves to whoever looks like the winner, because in this game, reputation feeds money and money feeds survival, but that survival mindset comes with a price. No real friendships, no real brotherhood, and no one left to trust when the tables turn again. The music industry runs on power moves. It's all about who you know and when you know them. Every connection, every cosign, every friendship is built like a business deal. That's what makes this game so cold. Loyalty doesn't come from love anymore. It comes from opportunity. When artists are still grinding, they build relationships out of survival. It's a mutual hustle. You help me, I help you. They rise together, share stages, share struggles. But once the fame hits and the checks start growing, everything changes. Those early bonds turn into business arrangements. It's no longer about brotherhood. It's about maintaining power, staying relevant, and protecting your brand at all costs. And that's where things get dark. Because in this type of environment, people will drop a friend faster than a bad single if it keeps them on the winning side. It's not about emotions. It's about optics. Who looks stronger right now? Whose name keeps me trending? That's the mindset. And once that becomes normal, real loyalty doesn't stand a chance. What's even crazier is that hip-hop was built on loyalty. That old school code of keep it 100, never fold, ride for your people. But the corporate side of the game runs on the exact opposite. Opportunism, self-preservation, and calculated networking. So you've got this huge contradiction where rappers preach loyalty in their lyrics but live by survival in real life. And that's exactly what we're seeing play out with Lil Baby and so many others. Their actions prove how the system trains artists to prioritize image over integrity. It's not that they don't understand loyalty. It's that the industry punishes it. Stand by the wrong person and you lose deals. Stay loyal to someone who falls off and your name starts fading too. Now flip the camera to NBA YoungBoy, and it's a whole different story. From his perspective, all of this is vindication. He's been calling this out for years, saying the industry was fake, that loyalty was dead, and that rappers would switch up when it benefited them. And now, the proof is right in front of everyone's eyes. While others played politics, YoungBoy stood alone. And somehow, that made him stronger. The very isolation that was supposed to break him turned him into the vindicated outsider, the one who saw through the industry's lies before anyone else did. Through all the chaos, NBA YoungBoy never folded. He stood on his principles and refused to play the fake game everyone else got caught up in. While others were chasing alliances and trying to make peace when it was convenient, YoungBoy stayed true to himself. He didn't bow down to industry pressure, didn't beg for validation, and didn't turn his back on the people who stayed loyal to him. That kind of consistency is almost extinct in the game today. Now that Lil Durk's situation looks bleak and all those rappers who once dissed YoungBoy are creeping back, the tables have officially turned. The power dynamic flipped. He's the one in control now. YoungBoy finally holds the cards, and he gets to decide who earns forgiveness and who stays cut off for good. That's a whole different kind of power. The power of being right after everyone counted you out. But the psychology behind being vindicated like that cuts both ways. Yeah, it feels good to watch people who doubted you now trying to make peace. But it also hits deep when you realize how fake the industry truly is. YoungBoy probably wishes he was wrong about some of these people, especially Lil Baby, but reality proved him right in the worst way. The same ones who switched up on him are now trying to crawl back when it's safe again. And that's where the real clash comes in, the street code versus industry politics. In the streets, loyalty means everything. You don't switch sides based on convenience. You stand with your people through the highs and the lows no matter how messy it gets. You don't abandon your circle just because things got dangerous or complicated. That's the code. But the music industry, it plays by a whole different set of rules. Loyalty is just another transaction, a tool to protect careers, not friendships. People don't ask who's real anymore. They ask who's beneficial right now. It's all about protecting brand value, image, and business connections. The second your name becomes risky, they distance themselves like you never existed. And Lil Baby's behavior? That's the perfect example of how industry politics destroy street loyalty. When it was beneficial to ride with Lil Durk, Baby went all in. But now that Durk's in deep trouble and YoungBoy's reputation is climbing again, Baby's switching lanes without hesitation. It's not about who's right, it's about who's winning. Now that it finally benefits him to make peace with NBA YoungBoy, Lil Baby's out here trying to act friendly again. But let's be real, that's not loyalty, that's a straight-up business move. It's cold and calculated. He's not doing it out of love or respect. He's doing it to protect his brand and keep his name hot while the industry shifts around him. And that's the heartbreaking part. Hip-hop was never supposed to be like this. This culture was built on realness, loyalty, and respect. Values that came straight from the streets. It was about standing on your word, riding for your people, and staying solid no matter what. But the industry twisted all that into something fake and money-driven. What used to be brotherhood is now just branding. The long-term damage from this fake loyalty runs deep, and it's eating away at hip-hop from the inside. When artists can't trust each other, when every friendship comes with hidden motives, and when loyalty only lasts as long as it's convenient, the foundation starts to crack. The same unity that once made hip-hop unstoppable is now being replaced by paranoia and betrayal. And let's be honest, YoungBoy's never gonna look at Lil Baby the same again. Even if they make peace publicly, that trust is gone forever. Once someone shows you that their loyalty is conditional, that they'll ride with you only when it benefits them, you can't ever truly trust them again. That kind of betrayal changes how you move forever. And it's not just Baby. This mindset is spreading like a virus across the game. Even if some of these rappers manage to distance themselves from Durk and patch things up with YoungBoy, everyone sees the pattern. Everybody now knows their loyalty is up for sale, that they'll flip again the moment it benefits them. The whole industry's become one big chessboard, where every move is strategic and every smile hides an agenda. Nobody's building real friendships anymore. They're building alliances that expire the second the headlines shift. And that kind of environment kills creativity. It kills authenticity. When every artist's more focused on survival than self-expression, the art suffers, and the culture loses its soul. That's the real cost of fake loyalty. It don't just break bonds, it breaks hip-hop's heart. From a cold business point of view, Lil Baby's switch-up might seem smart, at least on paper. If Lil Durk really ends up locked away for decades, staying loyal to him doesn't offer much return. And if NBA YoungBoy keeps winning, staying relevant, and running up views, then making peace with him could look like a strategic move. But that kind of thinking comes with a price tag. And it's not just money. Because once people see that your loyalty is built on business calculations instead of genuine friendship, your whole image changes. It makes you look sneaky, opportunistic, and hard to trust. The streets notice, the fans notice, and the industry definitely notices. You can be rich, famous, and powerful, but if nobody believes your loyalty is real, your credibility disappears overnight. What's wild is that Lil Baby probably thinks he's being clever, switching sides early, playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. In his mind, he's protecting his brand, setting himself up for future success, and avoiding getting dragged into someone else's downfall. But in reality, he's doing the opposite. He's showing the entire world that his word don't hold weight, that his loyalty is for sale. And once people see that, it's almost impossible to rebuild that trust. This kind of move might help him short-term, maybe get him a few new collabs or headlines, but long-term, it could destroy how people view him. Artists want to work with those who are solid, who don't fold when things get rough. Fans respect authenticity, not calculated alliances. And the streets? They've got one golden rule: never violate the code. Once you cross that line, your rep takes a hit that money can't fix. And that's the bigger picture, the cultural impact. This whole Lil Baby Durk YoungBoy mess shows exactly what's broken in modern hip-hop. The fake loyalty, the self-serving moves, the way people abandon principles the moment it's convenient. It's all a symptom of a game that's lost its heart. Hip-hop used to mean standing on truth, on loyalty, on real connections that came from struggle and respect. But now it's turned into a corporate playground where relationships are transactions and loyalty is temporary. That's not just disappointing, it's dangerous for the culture, because when the code fades, the foundation that made hip-hop legendary starts to crumble. This conditional kind of loyalty, switching sides whenever it's convenient, is straight up killing the soul of hip-hop. The new generation is watching all this unfold, and they're learning the wrong lessons. They're seeing that being loyal doesn't pay, that principles are flexible, and that switching up is just part of the game if it helps your career. That's a dangerous message for the culture. What used to make hip-hop powerful was its realness, loyalty, truth, and standing by your people through anything. But now, young artists see that staying solid gets you labeled as difficult, while being fake gets you rewarded. That's why it's so twisted. The ones who play politics and chase clout get radio play, brand deals, and industry love, while the ones who stay true get pushed to the sidelines. And that's exactly what's happening with NBA YoungBoy. He stayed true to his values, stood by his people, and refused to play the fake industry game. And they treated him like an outsider. Meanwhile, Lil Baby, who flipped sides when it was convenient, is still getting props, features, and magazine covers. That's how backward the game's become. This situation isn't just about one friendship falling apart. It's a symbol of how the whole culture's losing its backbone. When loyalty turns into strategy and principles become optional, hip-hop stops being a movement and turns into a marketplace. Every relationship becomes a deal, every decision a calculation. And once that happens, the art loses its authenticity and the community loses its soul. At the core of this whole story, it's not just Lil Baby versus YoungBoy. It's about the death of loyalty in modern hip-hop. It's about how fame and power twist people's morals and turn genuine bonds into business transactions. Lil Baby once had a real friendship with YoungBoy, built on respect, shared struggle, and mutual hustle. But when it stopped being good business, he dropped it like it was nothing. Now that the politics flipped again, he's trying to come back around like none of it happened. But that's not how real loyalty works. Once you show that your word only matters when it's convenient, that bond is broken forever. And no hit song or apology post can fix that kind of betrayal. You can't just turn loyalty on and off like a light switch. Not when it's convenient, not when it benefits you. Real loyalty doesn't work that way. You can't abandon someone when they're down bad and then come crawling back once on top. That's not real. That's manipulation. Once you violate that trust, there's no getting it back, no matter how many "we cool again" posts you drop. And believe it, NBA YoungBoy's watching everything. He's keeping track of who stayed solid and who folded under pressure. He's taking notes on who was truly with him and who was just chasing trends. That knowledge, those mental receipts, are gonna shape how he moves for years to come. Once you see who's fake, you never forget it. What's tragic is that none of this had to happen. All this drama, all this switching up, could have been avoided if people had just stuck to their principles and stayed loyal. If Lil Baby had stayed neutral instead of choosing sides, if other artists had refused to join the industry blackballing, if folks had valued realness over politics, hip-hop wouldn't be in this mess right now. But instead, everyone showed their cards. And the world saw how quickly loyalty fades when fame's on the line. Now we're left with a perfect picture of what's broken in today's rap culture: fake loyalty, opportunistic behavior, and a total lack of integrity. People are out here treating friendships like business deals and morals like marketing tools. And the sad truth? The streets see everything. No matter how clean you try to look online, the real ones always know what's up. That's why Lil Baby's sudden switch-up speaks volumes. His attempt to reconnect with NBA YoungBoy ain't about forgiveness or brotherhood. It's about career protection. It's about keeping his name clean while Durk's situation drags down the people around him. It's not friendship, it's strategy. And that kind of fake loyalty is exactly what's killing the authenticity that once made hip-hop raw, real, and untouchable. Because in the end, real recognizes real, and fake always gets exposed. The fans see it, the streets see it, and most importantly, YoungBoy sees it. The culture's watching closely, and every move is being documented in real time. This story ain't just about rap beef, it's about the fall of loyalty in hip-hop and what happens when artists trade respect for relevance. So what do you think? Is Lil Baby just being smart, or did he finally show his true colors? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild industry breakdowns. See you next time.